Alright. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyra here with another Exos Heroes video, and in today's video, we're going to be ranking the top characters in Exos Heroes. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to all the people that liked last month's video. I just want to say I really appreciate that, and let's get into it. Alright, kicking off this list, we're going to be starting with FC Iris, and keep in mind this list is in no particular order, just the best characters in the game currently. So FC Iris easily makes this list, just has so much going for her kit. She's viable in pretty much all game modes. The only place I haven't had too much success with her is going to be the dragon, but other than that, she's like literally one of the best characters you could possibly have for PvP, for challenges. She's just super useful. Mainly it's going to be, she has mana generation on her A1, and then also it's going to be this passive here called Wet Fog. When she removes a barrier, they're going to be marked, and then they're going to lose 20% of their or 20% of her health in defense they're going to lose. So as you can see here, she really got a big boost from the whole awakened mechanic. I think she's going to scale really well. She's one of the few characters that actually scales with health, kind of like Garf. So that feature is going to really go a long way. She's already good character, but then the changes are benefiting her as well. So then also she had an issue with survivability. That's another thing that I think is going to be addressed with this whole awaken mechanic. And then as we get more and more gear, I think she can only get really better from here. Any top list is going to have an FC rare on it. She's just such a good character. I feel like she's a pretty overloaded kit in my opinion. Main thing is, first of all, she's the first Guardian character, which is amazing passive. But then on top of that, they gave her this Guardian Star passive where she gains 32 attack speed. So then it's essentially making her, no other character can outspeed her. She's always going to go first unless, they have another Herrera that's actually faster. So I just really don't like the mechanic, how speed works in this game, how there's such massive difference between the tiers, and even 32 speed is insurmountable for almost any character, even if they're fast. Fastest character in the game, really hard hitting A1, one of the hardest hitting A1s in the game, especially when paired with Bathory. And then also is giving her status effect immunity, which is amazing. And then she has her A3, which is a really strong burst. But not only that, it's reducing the accuracy and evasion of the target with the highest attack by 100. And then also the A1 does that same effect as well. So incredible character. You're going to be useful in literally all game modes, Dragon, PvP, and challenges. So then next, we got a new character list. We got Dorka. She's one of the new characters from the most recent patch. And what makes her so good is going to be also her passive here. She has a very similar stat distribution as Rara, so she would be the fastest character in the game if it wasn't for this passive here on Rara. But what she got going for her is going to be this passive Soul Bond, where grants allies with less attack than self the Soul Bond mark and heals 30% of the missing health every turn, reduces magic damage taken by 30%. So that reduces magic damage taken is really effective. It's very unique. Mainly the big damage dealers nowadays are Rara, so in PvP, the damage is still going to be really high, which it has been for a while. But the main thing is going to be this healing factor that Soulbond provides, which is really unprecedented, especially when you compare it to the healers in this game. So you're taking healers that are normally very slow, and they only have one move. Usually, so there's two types of healers. There's ones that revive, and then there's ones that have big heal moves, but they can't revive. Usually it's their second move. And it takes a ton of mana, and it's like a burst move, so it's going to use up all their mana. And they're slow. Whereas she is a fast character that every single turn, she doesn't even need to do anything. Every single turn means every single time a character goes, they gain 30% health. So it's literally, not only is it obviously a good effect, but when you compare it to the healers in this game, it's just so massively better. She's easily going to make this list. Just this passive alone is going to make the list. Then you add on top of Grace of Mana, which is just an objectively better version than the typical passive of gaining mana in this game, where grants 1 mana permanently to all allies. Usually it's either a row, like the front row or back row. So that's really good. And then she has a pretty solid A1 here, where it's just going to be AoE damage. And then she has a really strong burst move here for 3 mana, 367% piercing damage to one enemy, usually shreds someone. So a very overall good kit. A weird version of a supportive healer type that keeps everyone up. But I like it. That kind of stuff. I feel like healers in this game, this is the kind of passive that they need for how they make the turn-based game. I wish they would have this passive for other characters too, because healers in this game are just not really that effective with how they are now. But hopefully they take some of the design concepts from her and apply it to other characters. Okay, next. Bathory, been a staple top character in the game for pretty much every list. Not going to cover her too much, but main reason is going to be just Tranquil is just too good. It's still a very effective passive that you're going to need for how strong or how hard the trials are, or the really hard new campaign is. This is just such a good passive that's going to help save you there. Really nice thing, especially when it comes to campaign or challenges. It's even if they use up the passive, because it's grants allies with less attack than self, the Tranquil mark and protects them from death. But every time you move to each phase, it's going to renew that Tranquil. So it's really helpful in making sure your team stays alive to being able to beat those challenges. So super effective. The FC version is a pretty significant upgrade in, well, not only having everything that normal Bathory has, also adds this other passive where it increases the health of all allies except self by 20%, which is just getting better and better as now health is just getting astronomical in this game compared to what it once was. Okay. And then not only that, she's a mana utilization character. This passive here, I really like this. When you see mana utilization, you can expect their base stats to be very similar to Bathory's, where they're going to have really high attack, and then they're going to be kind of slow, miss a lot, but then they also gain mana from other people gaining mana, and then do extra damage based on all the mana you gain on your team. So they just hit really hard, even if they have maybe lower modifiers than other characters. Their base stats and the passive of mana utilization is really going to boost them and make them do more damage than it would normally look like. And then now last character on the top 5, we got FC Annie here. Just been, ever since she's come out, has been super useful in the game. Out of this top 5 list, she's probably my favorite, most well designed in my opinion. I really like the passive. There's a lot of creative potential you can have with the passive of giving 3 mana and the damage immunity and the crit chance for your fastest character, because you're not stuck only using it on 1 or 2 characters. You can change your team comp to however you want, and then make sure the character that's the fastest, you can actually set it, and you can. It's good in challenges. It's good in certain campaigns when like the damage stones require different types. You're always going to find a use out of her. Regardless of what content you're trying to do. So it's a really good character that such massive changes to characters that used to not get much play, and then they make them just this really good game-changing character that's been good for a few months now. So, and then not only does she have that going for her, she also has a very similar passive to Bathory. So she's going to, be high attack, gain mana well, takes the mana of your characters on your team, and then amplifies her attack. And then it has a move that hits a literally identical move to Bathory on her A3. So she's going to hit like a truck just as well. And one thing I've been noticing is a lot of the campaigns, like the really hard challenges or the really hard campaigns, I should say trials, and the new story, you need a lot of red to break. So she's one of the characters I really like to elemental enhance. I elemental enhanced her to 3. Rare is another one. Like green characters are really important to the story when the story got really hard. So having a 2 to 3 nature enhanced is really useful. And then blue characters, Bathory is obviously going to get enhanced as well. So just keep that in mind. Those are the characters I look for when enhancing. So, all right. So now we're on to the honorable mentions. So that's the top 5 as it stands now. Yes, there's a whole bunch of good characters here, but I want to say like the honorable mentions of just really useful, solid characters. Obviously, Shufraken is going to be here for PvP. He's like pretty much a PvP exclusive just beast in there. I think this is one of the few general characters that, when I say general, I mean like the actual, like all the generals like Dorka, Bathory, all that stuff. His fake core massively improves him, especially in PvP, because he goes from a heal to actually like a 300% damage move. So massively better character from the FC version. Another character I've been getting a ton of use out of is the new reworked Brook. I think she's like absolutely incredible. I've been pairing her with Dorka. There used to be a synergy there where every time Dorka would put the passive on and she would get her new passive like as kind of like always active. That doesn't work anymore, but I still think that they work really well together because she's kind of tanky herself. She has the barrier will passive, so if she takes a lot of damage, she might survive with that. And then she's just having a survivable character that also has a really targeted like high burst move that you can essentially one shot anyone on your team. She has, I really like the counter passive. She's going to be gaining mana a ton because of how when you combine Angry Lamb with counter, because counters, she's going to gain mana from Angry Lamb and then also would gain mana from counter. So she usually, if you watch her, she has a ton of mana. So when she, not only does she do a burst move, a 4 mana burst move with 750% burst, but she's gonna have a ton of mana on top of that. And if you ever get the signature force on her, then all that mana gets converted to the signature force too. So she literally hits like one of the hardest characters in the game. Her and Diva are like neck and neck on like the hardest nuker. Okay. So then next, I think that's a perfect segue for Diva. Let's actually go to her. I think I took gear off her, but I think she's absolutely incredible. She is another character that is one of the rare ones, like Brooke, out of the 4 characters that has Dragon Hunter blessings. You can take her to the dragon on Friday, Saturday. That she has a really hard hitting AoE for only 2 mana, so she pairs really well with Annie. And then lastly, she has a hard hitting move just like Brooke, where 700% damage to one enemy, and then the Tiki Time Bomb actually does a ton of damage, and I've seen it crit for like 80k or something like that. It just really depends on how much health the actual character you're facing is. So her damage is going to scale based on the health of the other unit, versus Brooke, her damage scales off of the mana she has. And then always got to shout out Magi, still just as useful as she was last month. Using her all the time in challenges, using her in Dragon mainly. She's pretty much in every single one of my teams, because not only does she have the Dragon Knight blessing, she has the head Dragon Knight blessing, and she has the First Guardian passive. So I totally undervalued her when I first saw her, but I always want to talk up just how good she is, because she's just so useful for so much content. Really good bang for your buck champion. And she's a mana utilization character, so she's going to hit a lot harder than it looks. When I first saw these numbers, 178% damage to all enemies looks weak, but then when you factor in that it's only a 3 mana burst move versus a 5 mana like Bathory, and then all the other things she's bringing to the table, I think she easily deserves to be on here. And then lastly, I think this deserves to be the last honorable mention for best characters currently in the game, is Lepin. And Lepin is super useful for helping clear the campaign, the new really hard campaign. The main reason what makes her so good is going to be the most of the time, or so pretty much every single character that can revive has been garbage, and they don't heal enough. And then usually what happens is if you revive a character, they just die immediately. Whereas her kit has resolved all those issues, because when she heals, she actually heals decently well. Now it's a 12% over 4 turns, and then so essentially healing them 50% over 4 turns. And then next, her heal on the actual revive actually heals pretty well, 24% on a burst move, and then revives all dead allies, but doesn't only do that, but then grants them damage immunity so they can actually survive. And it's not a time damage immunity, it's a one-time damage immunity, so you'll always get the use out of the damage immunity. So hopefully you can heal them back up, do something to give them some survivability before they actually die again. But you actually have a chance this time, versus normally you just pick them back up and they just die again. Or usually the character that is reviving is your squishiest character, so they just die anyway. They die first anyway. Her passive through the revenge mechanic is actually pretty cool, because when she's doing the revenge mechanic, it is giving her block, it's giving her critical rate decrease. She actually gets pretty survivable, like good odds to block, and then when you block, you actually take far less damage. So I really like this character. Then the new thing about her is adding signature force onto her. She actually starts to hit like a truck with her A1 here, which is pretty hilarious, that this character that normally is just kind of like a heal bot totally forgot. Another thing that's crazy about her is the ability to give give the turn to the character that's lowest, so then it doesn't interrupt anything. It doesn't just push them to go and then it's like they went and then it goes like normal. It's just a completely new turn in the cycle. So you can literally like push a character up, and like for example, in PvP, if Rara gets a little low, it's really nice, because then you can have Lepin go, she does her A1, then now you're pushing Rara up front, and then so she's going to have her AoE in the beginning, and then you'll have her AoE again way faster than normal, and you can really snipe a lot of PvP wins that way. That's probably been my most useful way of using her A1. So, all right. That's it for my top 5 list, plus honorable mentions. Yes, there's a whole bunch of good characters. Yes, I'm literally looking at a ton of them here. Valentina, Shufrakin, Ramj, Rudely, all the Banga characters, all very good, but they don't make the list in my opinion. I think they're just one little step below. So that's where I have it. Let me know in the comments below if you guys agree, disagree, if you guys would have any others on this list. And with that, I'm out. Peace.